This video today is a really important one, and this is about fear. Experiencing fear after an accident, experiencing fear after an injury. And if what I'm gonna share resonates with you, I really encourage you to schedule a call with me because we do need to talk. Now, talking about fear. Fear is a normal state. It's common. Actually, fear keeps us protected, keeps us safe, because otherwise, if we wouldn't be afraid in different kind of situations, we actually would not survive. Because just imagine, you would be walking and then there's a cliff and you would walk off the cliff. Not a good idea. Or if you wouldn't be afraid standing in the middle of a really busy road, maybe in the middle of highway, you'd be like, yeah, everything is perfect and everything is okay. And then the truck or car would hit you and you could die. Not a good idea as well. So being afraid in some situations is definitely a good thing. Now, fear, it's not just, for those type of situations. We are not experiencing just in those type of situations. After an injury, after an accident, there is a really common type of fear, and this is fear of re-injury. It's really common. If you're experiencing it, you are not alone. In my experience, 95% plus of people are experiencing this type of fear. Now, that being said, so that fear is common, fear after an injury is common, do you also want to know what else is common after an injury? Women, here I'm talking about women because I primarily work with women not realizing that if they don't resolve this thing that is right now, at the beginning, small, if they don't resolve it, that it's gonna start affecting their lives later on because it's gonna grow. So, if we don't take care of fear at the beginning or as soon as possible, it's gonna start affecting our lives. It can manifest as you being afraid to go for a hike that otherwise, in the past you really enjoyed. Or you being afraid to play with your kids, to play some of the games with your kids because you are afraid that your ankle or knee or back or shoulder is gonna get hurt again. You being afraid to go for a bike ride, So if you let is maybe not a really good description because you don't decide like, yeah, I'm gonna let this fear affect me. So, but if you don't resolve this as soon as possible, later on, there's a really big possibility for this fear to affect your everyday life. And when we are affected by that, we actually cannot experience everything that this incredible life has to offer. So it's really important that we start working on it as soon as possible. But if you are a few months or maybe a few years out of the injury, don't worry, there's still time, it's still possible to resolve this. And just to give you I have my phone here, just to give you a few examples of real women experiencing fear or fear of re-injury months or some even years after their accident. And why I think that this is happening is because they actually they did not realize that at the beginning they were afraid. But maybe even if they realized that, they did not work on it, or other possibility is that they were focusing just on the physical part of their recoveries, such as, if there was a fractured bone, it was like, okay, let me just wait for this bone to heal and then everything is going to be okay. And let me tell you, that's my story as well. I was there as well. When I fractured my ankle and dislocated it, I was like, okay, so the bone takes 4 to 8 weeks to heal. So let me wait up to 2 months and then everything will be completely okay and like nothing happened. Right, yes, I was so wrong. I did not expect that this whole recovery, it's not just the physical part. It's not like you're not a robot, like, I'm gonna put you there and then you're gonna wait and then, we're gonna start from where we were before. No, there is a whole rainbow of things. You actually, a lot of the times, you feel that you are riding a roller coaster. You're up and down and up and down. And many times I see women reaching out when they are down, and then, you know, when they should make another step to really start working on their recovery in a holistic way, you know, to go into all aspects of their recovery, they are on the top of that roller coaster and they're like, oh no, I can do it on my own, no worries. Not realizing that after that high thing, the low end is coming again. So, okay, now let me share with you a few examples what women are saying in regards to fear. I'm 18 months post accident, all fixed, no real issues, but I'm frightened of anything that's dangerous. I'm 15 months today since injury, still having issues on being afraid and nervous about re-injury. I'm scared to try anything, anxiety gets the best of me. Another one, I'm 15 months post fall, I'm fearful of falling again. And the last one, I don't do anything risky, can't get over my fear 19 months out. So basically she's going into almost 2 years after the accident and she's still really afraid. So, you know, the sooner you start working on fear, the better it is. Now, like I said before, you know, if you are a few months or maybe a few years out, don't worry, there is still time, it's still possible to change things. But yes, the sooner you start working on it, the better it is. Now, one of the first steps that I do with clients when we start working together is to figure out why this fear is there. So, you know, there are usually two variations of this equation. So one is that fear is completely connected to the accident, to the injury. Another, you'd be surprised, it's really common, is that the fear is actually not so much, or of course it is connected to the injury, however, it goes way back. It started somewhere in the past. For some, it can be in childhood. For some, it can be a specific thing, situation that happened, and right now, this injury brought up everything. So it's almost like, you know, if you are pushing down the ball in the water, you know, when you're floating and it's really fun, but then when you let it go, the ball explodes. And it's really similar here with the injuries. So maybe, you know, in the past you did not resolve something, you pushed it down, so you have this ball here, and now with the injury it exploded. And for so many women, I see that it's so extremely overwhelming. It's, you know, and then we have, of course, anxiety, or we have really deep sadness, depression. We have a lot of fear of re-injury, of falling again. And if we don't resolve this, it can absolutely affect your life later on. And I told you, I gave you a few examples of what can happen in the future, you know, you being afraid of doing something that before you really, really enjoyed. So it is important to work on this, because, you know, even it can change in a really short period of time. So, for example, one of my clients, I worked with her for a few months, and the first session that we had, we really worked on her fear, because she was terrified. So she fractured her ankle and she was terrified of putting weight onto her leg. So yes, a lot of my clients, they do have ankle injuries, probably because they find me through my story, you know, through my fractured and dislocated ankle. But yes, she had ankle injury as well. So we worked, you know, at the beginning, we worked a lot on that fear. And that changed in a really short period of time. In short 2 weeks, that changed completely. It turned around. And now, you know, she is walking and running around, and she's not being afraid. So she actually can live her life like she wants. It's not like, oh, but I'm afraid to do something, or I don't know, my mind plays tricks on me. So, I really believe that, and my experience it is that working on a different aspects of the recovery, it really brings the best results. Excuse me. So, in the beginning, I told you that I invite you, that I encourage you to schedule a call with me if this resonates with you. Now, that being said, if you approach your healing through only physical part, or thinking about your injury like, well, let me just wait here for this bone to heal, and when this is gonna happen, everything is going to be okay. If this is your approach, absolutely, go for it. It's your story, it's your life. However, we are not really a good match to be working together. Now, if you understand that healing is way more than just the physical part, than just your body, if you understand this and if this resonates, then we absolutely need to talk, because I can help you. So I encourage you to schedule a call with me, and let's talk how I can help you so that you can heal in the best possible way.